Most urban gardeners think soil fertility is about adding more stuff, more compost, more fertilizer, more amendments. That mindset is exactly why so many raised beds look healthy on the surface but quietly stall out after a few seasons. The real bottleneck in small urban gardens isn't nutrients, it's soil biology. If the microbial life in your soil is weak, those nutrients sit there locked up while your plants struggle. I've seen this repeatedly in backyard beds, container gardens, and even hydroponic setups that rely on biological filtration. Gardeners dump compost into beds every season, but the soil still behaves like dead media. The mistake is assuming microbes will just appear on their own. Sometimes they do, often they don't. That's where the tiny jar trick comes in. It's one of the simplest ways I've found to rapidly jumpstart microbial activity in compact urban soil systems. And before we go further, if you care about practical growing techniques that actually improve harvests, hit subscribe to the Farm Logic channel. This channel is built for growers who want results, not just gardening inspiration. The jar trick works because microbes multiply faster in liquid environments than they do in soil. Soil microbes are incredibly active when they have three things: oxygen, moisture, and simple carbon sources. In raised beds, containers, and tight backyard plots, one of those factors is usually missing. The soil dries too quickly, organic matter breaks down unevenly, or microbial populations crash during heat waves. The jar trick sidesteps that problem by pre-culturing microbes in a small liquid environment before introducing them to the soil. Here's the basic concept. Instead of sprinkling compost into the bed and hoping microbes multiply, you place a handful of finished compost or worm castings into a 1-liter glass jar filled with dechlorinated water. Then you add a tiny food source, usually about half a teaspoon of molasses or just a pinch of finely ground oatmeal. So, the jar is shaken vigorously for about 30 seconds to oxygenate the mixture. After that, it just sits, loosely covered, for a full 24 hours. What happens inside that jar during that time is essentially a microbial population explosion. Bacteria that were dormant in the compost suddenly have water, oxygen, and sugar. Their numbers multiply dramatically. By the next day, you're actually holding a concentrated microbial solution instead of just a small scoop of compost. In practical terms, that liter of microbial slurry can inoculate an entire raised bed. When I first tested this method in a 4-by-8-foot raised bed that had been producing, well, pretty mediocre lettuce for 2 seasons, I poured 1 jar of the mixture evenly across the soil and watered it in. Within about 2 weeks, the difference in root growth was obvious. Plants were thicker, leaf color improved, and the soil texture started shifting from dusty to crumbly. That's because, microbes aren't just decomposers. They're actually the biological engine that cycles nutrients and builds soil structure. Urban soils are often biologically weak because, well, they're isolated systems. In natural soil ecosystems, microbes constantly move through the environment via insects, water flow, and plant roots. Urban beds just don't have that network. They're boxed in with lumber, filled with bagged soil, and often watered with chlorinated tap water that, unfortunately, suppresses microbial populations. Over time, the biology stagnates. The jar method acts like a microbial reboot. Instead of waiting for biology to slowly rebuild, you're introducing a highly active microbial culture directly into the soil environment. And the best part is the scale. A single jar can treat a surprisingly large area. For a typical backyard raised bed, say around 32 square feet, 1 liter of microbial solution diluted into a watering can is enough. I usually mix the jar with about 4 liters of water, and then drench the soil surface evenly. The microbes, they migrate into the root zone within just a few hours. In container gardens, the ratio is a bit smaller. About 1 cup of jar culture diluted into a litre of water works well for, 5 or 6 medium containers. Hydroponic growers can even use this trick carefully in systems that support beneficial microbes, especially media beds or biofilter systems. In that case, the jar culture is diluted heavily, about 1 to 20 with water, and added slowly to the reservoir. But there's one thing most people get wrong when they try this method. Temperature determines whether microbial life actually multiplies or just stalls. Many gardeners run this jar culture at room temperature and assume microbes are thriving. Sometimes they are, but microbial activity really accelerates once temperatures rise above roughly 100 degrees Fahrenheit in active compost environments. That's where monitoring your compost system becomes incredibly valuable. If you're serious about building strong soil biology, understanding compost temperatures makes a massive difference. A compost thermometer lets you see whether your compost pile is truly active or just sitting there slowly decomposing. One I've used for years is the RioTemp 20-inch backyard compost thermometer. It has a long stainless steel probe that reaches deep into the pile, and the dial clearly shows whether the compost is in the steady, active, or hot microbial range. That matters because compost harvested during the active microbial stage produces far stronger cultures in the jar trick. If you want to check it out, I've placed a link to the thermometer in the video description. It's a simple tool, but extremely helpful if you're managing compost seriously. Back to the jar process, because timing matters more than people realize. You don't want to let the jar sit for multiple days. After about 36 hours, oxygen levels drop and anaerobic microbes start dominating. That's not what you want for garden soils. The sweet spot is roughly 18 to 24 hours. When you open the jar, it should smell earthy and slightly sweet, not sour. If it smells like vinegar or rot, it's gone anaerobic and should be discarded. When the culture is ready, apply it to moist soil, never dry soil. Microbes need moisture to migrate into the root zone. I usually water the bed lightly first, then apply the diluted jar culture afterward. Within a week, you'll often see signs of improved soil biology. Earthworm activity increases. Soil aggregates form small crumb structures instead of powder. Plants respond quickly because microbial communities start unlocking nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and micronutrients. This effect becomes especially noticeable in small urban gardens because the soil volume is limited. In large agricultural fields, microbial populations can rebound slowly through natural processes. In raised beds or container gardens, the biology often needs direct intervention. The jar trick is one of the simplest interventions I've found that produces consistent results. And it's scalable. Some gardeners expand the concept into 5-gallon microbial brews using aquarium pumps for aeration. That works, but honestly, it's overkill for most backyard gardens. A simple jar, shaken by hand, delivers enough oxygen to kickstart microbial reproduction. What matters more than equipment is the quality of the compost you start with. If your compost is immature or poorly balanced, the microbial culture will be weak. That's why, honestly, monitoring compost temperatures and maturity is so useful. Mature compost harvested after the thermophilic phase usually contains the most stable and beneficial microbial communities. That's another reason tools like the RioTemp 20-inch backyard compost thermometer are worth having around. When you know exactly what stage your compost pile is in, you're collecting the best biological material for soil inoculation. After using the jar trick regularly for several seasons, one pattern became obvious. Urban gardens respond best when microbial inoculation is repeated periodically. I usually apply a fresh jar culture every 3 to 4 weeks during the growing season. It's not about flooding the soil with microbes just once. It's really about maintaining a healthy biological ecosystem that continuously cycles nutrients. Over time, the soil becomes more self-sustaining. Beds that once required heavy fertilization start producing strong growth with minimal inputs. Water retention improves. Root systems grow deeper and thicker. And, honestly, the overall resilience of the garden increases. All from a technique that takes about 2 minutes to prepare. That's the kind of practical knowledge that, really changes how you grow food. If you found this useful, go ahead and subscribe to the Farm Logic channel and share this video with another gardener who's serious about improving their soil. The more people understand the biology behind food production, the better our gardens and our harvests become.